Final Fantasy is a game known worldwide, from Final Fantasy 1 and now we are on to Final Fantasy 15. This game has come a long way, but that is not this video is about. In this video, we will venture out Final Fantasy Type 0. Final Fantasy 0, like most Final Fantasy game, is an RPG, but it's more like on the Crisis Core side, if you played one before. It's not like the other Final Fantasy where you wait for your turn. The game features real-time combat and casting of spells. The game was released on October 2011 on Japan. The game was part of Fabula Nova Crystallis. Fabula Nova Crystallis, which translates to New Tale of the Crystal, is a world or lore, if you will, created by Square Enix that will revolve around important crystals tied to deities. The first series to enter this world was Final Fantasy 13, which was released on PS3, and many of you played that, and I even played that as well. As of this recording, there are 5 games and one upcoming game that will revolve around this world. Games are Final Fantasy 13, Type 0, 13-2, Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 15, and the upcoming game Type 0 Online. The game was originally titled as Final Fantasy Agito 13, and it's supposed to be released on mobile phones and PSP. The game was directed after Crisis Core, so that's how it got the gameplay system. The mobile version was eventually cancelled, however the game was released for PSP in Japan only, but modders out there did not stop them from translating the game to English for PSP. Eventually an HD remastered was released on March 2015 outside Japan. Prior to the release of the game, there were already rumors when Square Enix trademarked titles such as Final Fantasy Type 1 and Final Fantasy Type 2. The development of its sequel began in 2011, however it was soon dropped and they focused working on Final Fantasy 15. Tabata stated that he would like to work on Final Fantasy Type 1 after finishing the work on Final Fantasy 15. So there you have it folks, sequel is coming. Final Fantasy Type 0 is a mature game. In fact, this is the first Final Fantasy game that is rated as M, not like most of the Final Fantasy series where it was rated E. Wars are occurring and deaths can be seen everywhere in the game. The combat and animation system is most likely the part where it has been rated as mature, since if you struck an enemy, blood will come out, and if you really had a powerful fire spell, you can incinerate the enemy. Final Fantasy 0 has 2 UMDs. Yes, you heard me right, 2 UMDs for PSP. He does not want to cut any content, he wanted to keep the cutscenes visually on par with PlayStation 3. Since the prologue and movies are long, most of the contents are usually on second disc. Final Fantasy Type 0 is the game that had gone without an English translation for 3 years since its release. That being said, a fan-made translation was made by Skyblade Cloud Team and it was made available in June 2014. However, 2 days later, Type 0 HD were announced for localization and the patch has been taken down by Square's request. Party members are lame on PSP released. Sometimes they just stand there doing nothing while you were being hacked away. According to Tabata, the AI was not because of a code, rather due to technical restrictions with PSP. This was changed on the HD release where the party members are more focused on healing the player. In October 2014, Amazon Italy listed the PC version alongside its console counterparts, raising the possibility of a release outside consoles. This was confirmed by Square Enix as a listing error on the same day, but months later, the game was ported for PC and released via Steam. On January 20th, 2015, Square Enix and Amazon teamed up with promotional Twitter minigame called Final Fantasy Type 0 HD Twitter Battle. Final Fantasy Agito, bearing the original name for Final Fantasy Type 0, is a game for iOS and Android and a follow-up to Final Fantasy Type 0. The game is a legitimate entry in the Fabula Nova Crystallis Final Fantasy series, and Hajime Tabata and Takeharu Ishimoto returned as a producer and composer respectively. A PlayStation Vita named Final Fantasy Agito Plus was to have been released in January 2015 but was delayed when the team encountered critical problems in the development environment of the Vita, meaning the team had to wait for Sony to help correct it. When the fault is sorted, the company will fix a new release date.